Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our scenario is called The Seventh Circle. It was written by Matthew Sanderson, and this is episode 2. Our game master is Tyler Hudek, and our recap will be given by Thomas McKeon. So, I think that we are all ready. The players are ready. Let's begin our journey into the darkness. Thomas?
Thanks, Tom. So, last episode, we were introduced with the cast and crew of The Other Side, a paranormal investigation television show that is stationed in Britain. The television show was supposed to have an episode at the London Tower, but unfortunately for their final episode, they will instead be going to northern Scotland in a section of the Isles of Lewis, where they will be investigating a possible haunted house. The reason because of this is because the studio is currently undergoing some financial troubles, and the owner of the house is looking to sell the house, with the studio getting maybe a cut of the final profit. Though the major crew and cast, which includes Yanto Moss, Karen Archer, Irene Brownstone, Donald McKay, they are not particularly happy about this recent development. They're also not happy that William Preston, a line producer from Los Angeles, has come to investigate the budgets, looking at discrepancies. Once the director of programming informed them all of this, they went about doing their busy work. Irene and Karen investigated the origins of the house and discovered some rather odd things. The first being that the house is in a circle with consecutive circles inside. The house is supposed to be a conduit for paranormal activity, so it's said. Also, in investigating, they discovered that a lighthouse nearby had 3 disappearances. The 3 guards were at the lighthouse and they just mysteriously disappeared one night. There's really no information there. However, it should be noted that the house in particular has a rather torrid history as well. The owner, the current owner, her wife has disappeared right as they were going through a messy divorce. The last place was in town, but that was so long ago, who really cares? Now the team has, I believe it's the whole team. We're not doing the 2 producers, it's the whole team. The entire team has landed in northern Scotland, where they will begin their investigation into the house a day early.
Excellent.
And I am correct. It's now it's the whole team. I know that we said in the last episode it was just the 2. It was just me and Ayanto, but
we were originally going to leave, but somehow they got an incorrect memo, and they all decided to join us at the same time.
All right.
Okay. So everybody then flew from London to Stornoway. It's a quick, hour and 45-minute flight. Not too bad. You land in Stornoway, and Stornoway is actually if you remember the map, it's on the east side of the island that you're on, and it's actually a fairly large town. It's a city. It's obviously has the airport. It has a hospital, a number of libraries. Just what you would probably consider it to be any decent-sized town. Upon arriving, you see a number of signs that are advertising local businesses, including a new whiskey distillery called the Phoenix Distillery that has come up, as well as a golf tournament that's happening this weekend at a castle there called Lew's Castle, Laws. But upon landing, you pick up whatever cars or vans that you had decided to get. get your equipment, and you are on your way to go where you want. Just to kind of add to Thomas's recap, your plans are to go, in Stornoway where you are right now. You had been told that the construction company that had built the house on the island of Elanmore, Rose Construction, is based in Stornoway. And then from there, when you're ready, you can go travel west to Carloway, which is where you have rooms reserved in the Great Northwestern Hotel, which is the last hotel that Patrick Raleigh and Nathan Glass stayed at before they went over to the island and then subsequently disappeared. And in Carloway, you'll also be able to get a boat for you to take over to the island.
So Carloway, it's essentially a village. There's no hospital like here in Stornoway.
No. Carloway is a very small city on a harbor.
Okay.
How long does it take to cross the island over to Carloway?
It's probably by driving, it'll probably take you 2 to 3 hours.
Okay. Country roads, probably. All right.
I'm going to nip off and buy a couple of bottles of Buckfast before we set off.
Okay, we really didn't have
just
time.
In case there are ghosts, I want to meet them head on.
We really didn't have much time to plan this ahead. I want to call the hotel in Carloway and make sure that they understand that we will be arriving today and not tomorrow.
And as Ianto is calling the inn, I will be contacting charters that could possibly take us out to location scout the house. So that way, we've got everything set up by the time we reach Carloway.
Okay.
I think I'll probably either go with Preston or I'll go look up some research additionally on the island. Maybe we'll find some more information here in Stornoway that we might not have found out in London.
Okay.
I'll go and help with the setup, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think of anything else that I would be good at.
So Iantu, we'll start with you. You call the Great Northwestern Hotel. Phone rings and a man answers. Says, "Hello, Great Northwestern Hotel. This is Richard Carlisle. Can I help you?"
Yes, Mr. Carlisle. We have reservations. Originally, we were planning on arriving tomorrow, but I think that we're going to be arriving today. They should be under Jan Thomas. I don't know who they'd be under, actually.
Let me see here. Oh, yeah, Mr. Moss. I see you there. You're with the television crew, correct?
That's correct, for the other side.
Yes. We have 4, 5, 6 rooms, I believe, for you. Is that correct?
Yes, I hope it's not too much trouble.
Oh, absolutely not. We're totally empty right now. You know, if you would have come a couple weeks before, there were some Highland games here. Everything was booked, but right now we are pretty much empty. So it is not a problem for you to come
I think
in.
we are quite lucky. Thank you very much.
What time do you think you'll be here?
Well, we've just arrived in Stornoway, and I will probably get something to eat, and then we'll be driving there. How long do you think it would take us by automobile to get there?
Let's see here. From Stornoway, it's probably going to take you about 3 hours, maybe a little bit more if you stop along the way. And you're not going to hit much traffic. It's all country roads.
Yes, there's probably not too many places to stop along the way.
No, it's going to be beautiful scenery, but probably a long ride.
Well, we'll be renting a car. So there's plenty of places to park then, I assume.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you. You should expect us within about 4 hours, I would say.
Excellent. We will make sure that your rooms are ready.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Okay. So, William Preston, you were going to start calling around for boats. Is that correct?
Yeah. I guess I'll pull up a list of ships or at least maybe like a charter company that could probably take us out?
You don't see any charter companies, but you do get the number of the harbor master in Carloway. It's a woman by the name of Katrina Trent.
Okay, so I will give her a call immediately.
Okay. You call her and she answers, yes, Carloway, Carloway Harbor. This is Katrina. Can I help you?
Hello there, Katrina. My name is William Preston. I'm calling on behalf of the other side, which is in conjunction with, what was the studio name?
We never said, I don't think.
Okay. I said on the phone awkwardly as I tried to remember.
The ITD Studios.
ITD Studios with Channel 4. I'm contacting you because I'd like to possibly charter a ship to Eileen Moore, the island that's right off the coast, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know if we have any charters available. We have boats for rent that you could rent out. You may be able to, if you'd like, hire one of the local fishermen to take you out if you aren't comfortable piloting the boat.
I don't think that we'd be comfortable piloting the boat. Is it possible for you to give me the name of some of these fishermen? I'd like to head out today with possibly the director of photography and maybe one of the researchers. It's just an extra set of hands. So if you could just please give me the number, that'd be awesome. That'd be great.
Yeah, so she gives you a name of a couple guys who she thinks may be willing to do that. One guy's name is Scott McGregor. Another guy's name is Charlie Miller. She says those are probably the best two. She doesn't have numbers for them, but if you're coming into town, she says they typically hang out at the Great Northwestern Hotel. There's a like a pub in there that they should be able to, if they're not there, if you see her at the Harbor Master office, she'll have the information by then.
All right. Can you tell me a little bit about, I'm sorry if this is a little forward, but you've probably lived in the town sometime, I assume. Can you tell me about the amenities within the town? I know that there's the inn and, of course, the harbor, but anything else really that we can kind of depend on while we're there?
Well, we have a few small restaurants, a few small shops. We're mostly this is mostly a fishing and a tourist town, so there's not going to be much in the way of amenities. Is there something specific you were looking for?
Really not. I mean, the crew they'll have off time, and I'm wondering where they can go to get food and everything like that. I'm also a little worried about hazards at the island in case that there's an injury or something like that. Speaking of that, do you know the weather? You probably have an up-to-date report. Do you or do you not?
Yes, it will have a. The weather is going to be nice over the next couple of days. Although I have to tell you, if you're going out to Eileen Moore, that it's going to be very windy. It's always very windy out there, and given where it is in the ocean, there are a number of storms that could kick up right away, but I don't see anything like that in the forecast. So you should be good. He says, or she says, are you staying at the Great Northwestern Hotel?
Yes, I believe so. The studio has paid for us for, I believe, about 3 or 4 days.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. So if you go over there and she's in, Brady is one of the people who, I know she goes over to the island a lot to kind of help take care of the gardens that are on the island. If you talk to her, she can probably give you a little bit better idea on, what to expect weather-wise. But beyond that, I don't see anything that will cause you any issues.
All right. Well,
her name's Francesca Brady.
Francesca Brady. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Well, thank you, Katrina. I will definitely stop by the inn and see if Scott and what was the other name? I can't remember the other name.
Charlie Miller. Everybody just calls him Charlie or Chuck.
All right, Charlie Miller. Awesome. I'll see. I'll stop by and see if they're in. Maybe they can take us out today. Okay. If I've taken up enough of your time, so thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I hang up.
All right. And then Karen and Irene were going to start doing some research. Dave, everybody had just landed in Stornoway.
Yep.
Ianto had talked to the hotel to make sure everything's okay. William has talked to the harbor master to make sure that you have a boat to get over to the island. And Karen and Irene were going to basically just do some more research while you're in town. What would you like to do?
Okay. Well, I'm open to suggestions. Who would like my assistance? I could help with the research. How's that?
Okay. All right. So you three decided to go do some research. We'll say, just to make it easier, that you've rented at least 2 cars for everybody to drive around. Where would you like to do research? It's a very large town. Number of shops, number of libraries. Any place in particular you want to try to go to?
Probably the library.
I thought I'd be interested in trying to get some more information on Scottish folklore and local legends around this area. See if I can find some more information on, like, the weather near Eileanmore, the folklore around there, anything more concrete.
Okay.
I'd be happy
All
to
right.
hit up some pubs, local shops, and try to talk to the locals, maybe,
Okay.
since I'm kind of in the library.
Okay. So, all right. Well, then let's do Karen and Irene first. You two go to one of we'll say that there's a very large library in town. At least from asking around, this is the place to go. Go ahead and give me library use rolls. We'll see, what you guys find.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, so you start digging around, and you're looking basically into anything that you find for the island itself. And weather-wise, you find that being a small island in the ocean, the weather can come and go, but it can get very dangerous out there, which is why the lighthouse was originally put out there. There's a lot of small islands, and if a storm comes in, or at night when it gets very, very dark, the ships can't see very well out there, and so the lighthouse was originally put in to help prevent any shipwrecks out there. But you keep reading about how it is extremely windy on the island. All of the eyewitness accounts, but all of the accounts you have that you read about people being on there, they always bring that up. Now, the folklore, you don't really find too much else other than what you've previously found about the missing lighthouse, guards. But you do find out that in addition to the lighthouse and the glass house on the island, there's also a chapel. There's a very small chapel, pretty much run down. You see some pictures of it, and you wouldn't even describe it as a chapel. You'd really describe it more as a bunch of rocks that were stacked onto each other and made kind of a roof. But it's a chapel that's dedicated to Saint Flannan, who had lived on the island hundreds of years ago. When you guys did you get a regular success or hard success? Or
regular?
I was very, very, very close to a hard success.
Okay.
Very close.
So you start digging a little bit more, and as you're doing research, you end up finding a newspaper article from about 8 or 9 years ago. Actually, it would be more like 9 or 10 years ago, or years prior. And you just happen to stumble upon it, and it's about a auction that took place in London concerning a number of books. And one of the books in there was reported to be the Journal of James Ducat, one of the lighthouse guards who had disappeared. It's a very small description on it, basically just describing it as reported to be the journal. However, it could not be substantiated that it was actually his journal. because of basically what was in the journal did not match up with what the historically recorded information was. And it was shown as being sold to a man by the name of Adam de Brott.
Does it say anything about what de Brott's location was?
It does not. Oh, actually, you know what? I apologize. I got my notes mixed up. It was actually the reason it stood out to you. It was because it was sold or was bought by Patrick Raleigh.
Hmm.
And if you remember, Patrick Raleigh was the man who built the house on the island.
Did you find anything about the saint that lived on this island, Saint Flanagan or whatever his name was?
Flannan? Not much. He was just a monk who had gone out to the island and lived there for a number of years, performed miracles, which is how he obtained his sainthood.
Okay. Anything else we should know about the history, maybe before the lighthouse was built? Maybe there's some sort of, I don't know, druid ritual site there or something.
Nothing like that's ever been discovered. A lot of what you're here or what you're reading about is related to just a lot of the folklore you saw before, that, you know, the Vikings had come through the area, and supposedly there's Viking ghost ships that are seen around there. The island is supposedly haunted, like a lot of the other islands in the area are supposedly haunted. And like you discovered the day before, there are supposedly little people living on the island, Fae, that if you don't appease, they will make you disappear. Outside of that, you really don't find too much else.
All right, then.
Can we find blueprints to this house?
The blueprint, didn't we?
No, we just had an outline of it. I'm talking about blueprints, structural blueprints.
Well, what you did find was the blueprints. You did get the blueprints from the London Architectural Society, the Royal Institute of British Architects. I'm sorry.
Okay. So
they had a copy of the plans of the house, and that is what you found. One way.
Yeah.
The blueprints for the house shows that it's a very large house. It's made up of concentric circles, both on the ground floor. Each room is concentric circles made up on the ground floor and the upper floor. And in addition to that, I believe a number of you recognized it, that the shape was in something called the flower of life, which is related to sacred geometry and is used a lot in creating protection, as well as focusing power.
Very simple plans.
Yes.
So obviously they were involved in ritual magic.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
Well, not everybody who has a statue of Buddha in his house is a Buddhist.
True.
I would beg to differ that you don't spend that much time, that much money on something as a design.
And
it has a very distinct purpose to it.
There's like a whole Faraday cage around the house, basically, too.
Correct.
Remember, we
That's
covered that.
quite unusual. Of course, you could also. I'm sorry, I'm not even there.
Did you? I must not be getting enough sleep. I swear I keep hearing Yanto talk.
You've butt dialed me, you see.
Did I? Hangs up.
Let's just get to the island.
I agree.
So, Dave, while they're doing this, Stornoway is a very large city. You've seen signs for the Phoenix Distillery, which is a new whiskey distillery that's been in production for about 5 years now. It seems to be very popular, as well as just like any large city, there's a number of other bars and pubs all around. you said you wanted to just kind of go around. Is there any specific place you wanted to go to, or just go grab a drink somewhere?
I'll just think. I'll take a look. I'll find someone at a local shop, someone nearby, and say, hey, where's the local that people go to who've been around here for a while? What's an older pub in town?
An older pub? Well, says, there is this one place. It's called the Red Lion. It's on the north end of town. It's really, not hard to miss. But it's probably one of the older ones. It's got decent drinks. It's pretty well established. If you're looking for something that's old, Stornoway Scottish, that's the place that I would go.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. That'd be great. Okay. Well, is there transit I can get, or a cab or something, or is it within walking distance?
Yeah. There'd be a cab that you get, or it's probably within walking distance. Probably take you about 20 minutes or so to walk there if you wanted to.
Sure. Whatever. Sounds good. I'll just head over that way.
All right. So
You said this is a big town.
yes.
Okay. Let's peruse the phone book. Is there any stores here that deal with the occult?
Oh yeah, there would be one or two stores at least.
Karen, if we were to go to one of these stores, we might be able to find out something of the occult nature of what was going on the island, because they had to buy supplies someplace.
That's a good point. They might know a lot more about the design used on the island and why it might have been built, too.
So we're going to go hunt down the
I
store.
say let's go there.
Okay. All right. Let me do Dave first, and then you guys go into the store. Dave, you go it takes you about 20 or 30 minutes to walk there. It's a nice day out, so you don't really mind it. By the time you get there, it's early afternoon. It's probably like 1 or 2 o'clock. Your plan was, if I remember right, you guys had left early in the morning, and so by this time it's been a couple hours. And you get to the Red Lion, and it's what you picture as probably a British or a Scottish pub. It's a very nice wooden building. It's got a metallic sign outside that kind of screeches as it sways in the wind. The outside is definitely weather-beaten. Looks like it needs a new coat of paint. But as soon as you walk in, you can see that it's a very well-kept wood-beamed place. The roof is kind of low, so you have to stoop a little bit as you go down the front stairs, and then you go inside, and it's basically a large room with a number of tables and a bar. You see a bartender there, as well as 4 or 5 patrons just kind of sitting around, either eating lunch or drinking.
Does every head turn and all the music stop when I walk in?
No, it
with my back.
It doesn't. It does not. The bartender looks up. He actually looks up at you, just kind of smiles at you and looks away. Then kind of does a double take at you. And he kind of stands back and looks at you for a second and says, "Sorry, do I know you from somewhere? You look very familiar."
Do you watch maybe. It's entirely possible. I mean, I'm here with some people doing a little bit of research. You might have seen me on TV.
TV? That's right. Yeah, you're on that Ghost show, aren't you?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we don't get many celebrities in here. Have a seat. What can I get you?
Just a scotch. Something good.
Absolutely. Our best. He brings it out and pours you a scotch. Says, so what are you doing in town? You said you're here doing research?
Yeah, we're doing research. I try to give him the gist without getting into personal information that we've been provided with about the house, about the so we're just trying to add some flavor to our show, try to go a little beyond where we normally travel. So this is why we're over here. It's such a nice place, such a wonderful location. Heck, I'm even looking at maybe some vacation property over here. This would be a wonderful place to semi-retire. Love it over here. So just, you ever heard anything about this house, these people?
He says, well, I haven't, other than, what's been in the news. I kind of remember there being something in the news a number of years ago about the people working over there or who built it getting lost at sea. But
yeah,
who you need to talk to, and he kind of points to a guy in back corner sitting at one of the booths with a beer in front of him. Says, back there, that's Jesse Hewitt. Jesse actually worked on the house. He was employed by Rose Construction by Glenn Rose. And Jesse, I know he worked over there. He may be able to tell you a little bit more about it.
Sure. Is his beer half full?
It's about half full.
Could you send one over to him? I'll head over to say hi. If you could bring one over for him too on my tab, that'd be wonderful.
So yeah, absolutely. And so as you shortly after you start walking over there, the bartender grabs a full beer and takes it right behind you. And just about the time you get to Jesse, the bartender sets it down in front of him, and he kind of looks at him a little bit quizzically, trying to figure out, because he didn't order another one, and he points to you and says it's on his tab, and turns around and kind of walks away. And Jesse is a man in his early 40s, graying hair. He's obviously seen better days. He's very well built, very strong, but he kind of has like a 4 or 5 day old beard on. Just kind of looks more rough around the edges than normal. And he kind of looks at you and says, so what do I owe this pleasure of you buying me a drink?
I reach out to shake his hand and say, hey, I'm Dave Sterling. I'm here with my crew, my writers, or the producers and such. We're doing a little bit of a ghost hunting, those TV shows that they do.
Oh, I remember watching you. You guys did that show with the rat thing, right? In States. Yeah,
that's
that was
right.
A good one.
Yeah, we like to mix it up a bit. So we're coming over here. We actually got contacted by some people that said that there might be something about, you were involved in that house that was being built and the people lost at sea and all that.
Oh. So at that point, he up until this point, he was. You got the impression that he was a little bit tipsy.
Yeah.
But as soon as you mention the house, he gets very dead sober, and he kind of gets this forlorn and upset look on his face, and he says, I'm not sure I really want to talk about that.
Oh, geez, I'm really sorry. Hey, look, I don't mean to bring up, bad memories. Did I know you lost some coworkers, friends, perhaps, and that mishap?
No, actually, I was actually fired from the job before all that happened. Yeah, the people who got lost, they weren't on the construction team.
Oh, they weren't. Okay.
No, they were. I don't even know who they were. I hadn't even seen them at all when I saw the newspaper articles. I didn't even recognize any of their names, other than the two gentlemen who had who were building it, Raleigh and Glass, I think were their names. I know Raleigh was one of them.
Yeah, were they decent guys, or they fired you? I know.
Well,
up to that point.
Gloss was Nathan Gloss, the architect guy. He was nice. The other guy, Patrick Raleigh, he was kind of an ass, honestly. There were, and he kind of stops for a second and pauses. He says there were things that happened on the island, and he either didn't want to believe me or didn't care, and he disagreed with everything that I was saying. So that's why he had me fired.
Things happening, things you saw, like you saw some of this stuff.
Look, it happened a while ago, and he's kind of like halfway through his new drink now. I'm not sure I really want to talk about it anymore. Especially you're on TV. I don't want to go on the TV that I'm saying all these weird things.
Oh no! I mean, I like to sources can be anonymous or you can be famous. It's we can just sort of. I'd be happy to just sort of. Could I buy you lunch? Could I buy you lunch? Another drink, maybe? You ever have eaten yet?
They've got really good whiskey here.
Let's do that. I'll have another one. I'll call the bartender up and say, let's do these.
So the bartender, goes and kind of brings over 2 more glasses of drinks, and he kind of takes a couple sips. And as he's taking his sips, he's kind of staring at the wall a little bit, almost like he's bringing up his courage to really talk about what had happened. And so he finally says, "Yeah, let me ask you this. You've been on this show. You guys investigate the supernatural or the paranormal, whatever you want to call it. Have you ever seen anything that you couldn't quite explain?"
I've seen bits and pieces, but I personally I've got a thing. See, my grandfather, he actually was a professional ghost hunter years ago. I have some of his books. He was a guy that was out actually doing this stuff, and I've always wanted to do it, but it wasn't something that I could do. So I moved into TV and stuff. So I finally found my way into mixing the two, and I've seen a few things that are pretty creepy. And I've seen some people. I've been around people that have certainly seen things, but I'm still looking for that one thing. I just want to find it so I could maybe move into that. That could be my profession. So this is important to me. I'd like to find something to prove it's real.
And he's got a dead serious look on his face, and he looks straight into your eyes and says, "You may want to reconsider that, because I was exactly like that. I wasn't, I'm not a religious man. I wasn't a religious man. I didn't believe in any of that, but that island changed me, and I can tell you this: it has not changed me for the good. When I was there, we were building that house, and the house was unusual, but I just chalked it up to it being from some rich eccentric guy. Everything had to be perfect to him. In fact, he even had us, Raleigh. He was standing over our shoulders the entire time, and if a door was an inch off what it should be, he made us redo it. I mean, this happened a number of times, and it was good money, and that's the reason why I stayed on the island a couple times overnight. Which was normal. We would have somebody stay with the equipment and that overnight. Not that anybody's going to steal it in the middle of an uninhabited island in the ocean, but you always have to take precautions, insurance, and all that crap. But hey, I was getting paid for it. And the first night I stayed there, it was fine. I had some bad dreams, but chalk that up to it just being just bad dreams. But that's when I started to hear them more. I started to hear. He kind of looks around to just make sure that nobody's watching him. He says that's when I started to hear the voices. Whether or not you believe me. Whenever I was in the building, whenever I was in that house at night, I could hear voices. And in fact, the longer I stayed on that island, the more I could hear them. And it was those damn rocks in the house where I think that's where the voices had to have been coming from. Because Raleigh wanted the house built around those damn rocks, and there's just something wrong about them. I mean, the only place where I couldn't hear the voices was in the chapel on the island. That seemed to be the only place to protect me.
And nothing since you left. Nothing since you've been away.
No. Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
You know, look, whether or not you believe me, you know, since that time, you know, I'm not going to say that I found religion, but I definitely believe a lot more, and I've, you know, been learning more about, you know, the hand of God. And, you know, look at it like this, you know, the hand of God crafted this fine world, and there are places like that damn rock, like that damn island, that were not touched by his hand, but those of another. And he kind of points downward as he says that. Because whatever it is that calls to those who walk on its shores, it waits in the darkness within that rock, or within those rocks, waiting to be let out. If you're planning on going over there, may God protect you.
Thank you for this. Do you know, before you ever were on the island, did you ever hear of anything like this? And did you ever hear of anybody speaking about the island?
No, nothing like what I experienced. I mean, hell, I didn't even know that. I'd never been over to the island before. You know, I heard about, you know, the missing lighthouse keepers from school and all that, but beyond that, you know, I didn't hear anything close to this. I never even dreamed of this in my worst nightmares.
Wow, that's an amazing bit of information. Great. Look, I'll write down my phone number. Telephone number. I'll say, look, if you think of anything else to be interviewed, if you change your mind, you want to have your story out there, you'll look good if you want to. We'll bring you on. You could be interviewed, or it's entirely up to you.
But yeah,
but if you have
I appreciate it. I really don't want to be interviewed.
No, I got it.
Like I said, if you go over there, man, just be careful.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the warning. Definitely, I will be careful. I'm looking forward to looking into this further. I'm going to do a little bit more poking around and see what we can find out, but thank you.
All right, and thanks for the drinks.
No problem, thank you. I'll go pay my tab, drink my drink, shake his hand.
Okay. Okay. Before we get to Karen and Irene going to the like New Age store, occult store that you find, William, Orianto, or Donald, do you guys want to be doing anything? I don't want to leave you guys out.
Yes, William, where are you? William. Oh, there you are. Where has everybody gone?
I shrug and I say, I don't know, they're not my crew.
Well, for Christ's sake, we're supposed to go to Stornoway. To Callaway. You know, it's they've just informed me up front that it's going to take us about maybe 3 or 4 hours to drive across the island.
Well, look, Yanto. All right. We have no PAs and we have no grips. So how about this? You round up the talent and what are they, researchers?
Yes, the researchers.
All right. You round them up and get them over to the hotel and get them all set up. I'll take Donald. I look at you, Donald. I'm assuming you're there. And I say, yep. You're the director of photography and the audio and the grip and the gaffer and everything. So why don't you and me leave now with the gear? We head down to the harbor. We find ourselves a fishing boat, and we at least take everything up to the island and just get it there. We leave it in the house.
Sounds
good
to me.
There. That's it. Okay? How does that sound to Yato?
Well, you're still talking about a 3.5 hour trip just to get to Callaway, and then you're going to have to find yourself a boat from there.
Yeah, well, it's better than wasting time.
Well, we were planning on coming here ourselves first. What if we, let me get to David on the phone. Just a moment.
You get David on the phone, and I take Donald over to check the gear.
Why doesn't David answer? He's probably in a bar somewhere.
Hello, what's up?
David, where are you?
I'm just having a drink with a source of information for our show.
And do you know where Karen and Irene are?
The library, I think. They always hang out at the library. I don't go there. Books.
So you guys are doing some research. It's going to take us nearly 3.5 hours to cross the island just to get to Stornoway. You have a car with you?
Yep, I've got a cab, yeah.
I don't think that you'll get lost. I think that we're going to leave early. You guys join us in Stornoway. We might be crossing over to the islands just to set things up and check things out before we come. But to just get yourselves sometime today to the inn over on Stornoway. I give him the address and everything. They're expecting you within a few hours. So if you're doing research, take your time.
Okay, I'll get some raincoats in. Is this one of this open boat? Like, are we going to be out on the deck getting rained on and crap?
I have no idea. Hopefully it won't be a rowboat.
Yeah, hopefully. All right. I'm going to go buy what do they call it in England? A slicker? Those raincoat things?
Perhaps. I don't think this is England. This is Scotland, but...
Oh, whatever.
Perhaps they call it a Macintosh.
I'll ask for one of those. I'll get you a kilt while I'm at it.
All right.
Oh, you're Welsh. You don't have those. Okay. All right.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
All right. I think that we'll just go ourselves, and they'll join us at the hotel.
All right.
In Stornoway.
Well, I shrug and I say, Talon, and I open the door to the to the passenger seat, and I say, I'll drive.
Are you used to driving in Great Britain? We drive on the other side of the road, you know.
Yeah, so do people in LA. Get in.
This is the islands. There's only one side. There's only one lane.
Only one lane. I see.
Lots of passing places.
Yeah. Don't worry. We'll head,
lots of sheep.
We'll head straight there. Andrew, do you want to stop at the hotel, or do you want to just go straight to the harbor? We've got all the gear here. We're looking at what, $20,000 worth of gear in the back.
Well, we need to. We've got also all the stuff from a lot of the stuff from the show. We can drop a lot of this off at the hotel.
All right.
Check in.
Yeah. All right. So we will head to the hotel first.
All right. So that'll take us 3.5 hours.
All right.
And you guys will get there, say about 4 o'clock in the afternoon or so.
It's going to be kind of late.
Well, shouldn't take us more than an hour to get from a boat to the island, so it'll be 5, and by that time we'll unload all the gear, which means it'll be probably 7 around that time, which means quitting time.
We'll see. As long as the weather is fair.
As long as the weather is fair, yes.
All right.
Okay.
So we're now driving.
So then Karen and Irene, you receive the message that they're going to head up there. It's about this time that you find that the closest it's not really an occult store. It's more of like a new age store, and it's called the Banshee's Dress, and it's probably the closest one to you.
All right, when we get in there, I want to feel it out. I mean, are they just like books and crystals, or do they have like, little bags of herbs and various stuff like that? I mean, candles. What are we talking here?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of everything. I mean, it's definitely mostly a bookstore with new age and supernatural books. Although, as you start looking around, you do notice that there's some things that kind of point to this not just being just some bookstore that some hippie decided to throw up. That you're seeing some older books, some used books, some books that you recognize as being more authentic, I guess, than trade paperbacks or mass published books that are sold. And in addition to that, you are seeing things like candles and herbs and things along those lines.
Well, we talked to the owner. We talked to the owner, and and we're just curious as to if this kind of stuff is popular on the island. If magic is big and popular. That would be the number one thing. Is this a common kind of thing? Does she know of any groups that are practicing in the area?
So the owner's name is Denise. She's a woman, redhead in her late 30s. She basically tells you that, it's not the most popular. We tend to get more not tourists, but people passing through. There are a large number of Wiccans up here, or those who practice Wicca. And so we get them in here as well. But the really true believers, we don't get too many of those. But we do get some every once in a while. Were you looking for something specific, or are you just?
Well, actually, we're trying to trace down a couple of people that we know, and we were just and we knew that they were into, shall we say, the occult, and we were just kind of curious as to if you might have seen them come through here.
Oh, maybe. Who are you looking for?
We tell her the names. What is it, Bailey?
Bailey. No, I don't remember any Bailey. I mean, like I said, we get a lot of people in here.
He built a big house on an island not too far from here.
Well, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the island of Eileen Moore.
Oh,
and the house on that there.
You mean
perhaps?
that house?
House.
Raleigh was his name, not
right.
Bailey.
Raleigh.
Yeah.
That's his...
No, I know who you're talking about only from the news and that. He never came into here that I know of. Both of you give me psychology rolls.
Psychology? Oh, that's gonna suck.
Nope.
Oh my God! I made it! I just barely made it. 10%. 10%.
Check that skill.
Holy crap!
So as you start talking about this, and once you mention the island, you see this her across her face this hint of recognition come in, and she kind of stops and hesitates for a second, and then just continues, and says, I know the island you're talking about. It's and the disappearances on that. There've been some rumors about it, but outside of that, I'm not really sure what I could tell you. But you definitely get the impression that she knows more than what she's saying.
Turn on the charm. It's like, what's the rumors?
Same.
I
trust us, we're.
Well, why are you looking into it again? You're not one of these bloggers or something like that who's just gonna
Do I look like a blogger? Here I am with like pentagrams on me and look like a hippie.
No, ma'am.
I mean, are you guys? Did you say you're going over to the island?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Really? That's interesting. She says, look, I don't know if I should be telling you this, but all right, I guess I will. She says, the reason I know that is I don't just remember it from the news that was going on. There were I had, she wasn't a friend, just kind of an acquaintance who used to come into the store a lot about 10 years ago or so. Her name was Virginia Bell. She was one of the people who was lost on the boat coming back in. And I always thought it was odd that she went over there with that group of folk, because they said that they were surveyors, but she wasn't a surveyor. She was an author. She never really got published, but she wrote a lot of, or she was trying to write a lot of supernatural and occult books. In fact, there was a rumor going around that she had actually joined this group of occultists right before she went over. I don't know if that's true, but I always thought it was a little bit odd that she goes over there with all these people, and it's almost like they were covering up what she actually was.
Is there any kind of megalithic ruins over there that they would be exploring?
Not that.
Yeah,
not
anything
that
like that?
There's that chapel over there. It's kind of run down, but I don't think there's anything surrounding that. There's the lighthouse where there were those disappearances that happened over there, but other than that, and the house they built over there that I know of, that all that's over there is flat grassland and cliffs, and the ocean. I've never been over there though. I mean, I did.
Well, we had been looking into some of the plans for the house that was on there. We noticed something interesting, and I sketch out the generic shape of the floors of the building, and I explained that I found out what this was, and I explained there was also some sort of or something on the island. Any idea what that might get used for?
She kind of looks at that and says, this looks really familiar. Hold on a second. She kind of turns around and she starts looking through some books, and she pulls out a book that's entitled Sacred Geometry. And she kind of starts flipping through, and she ends up finding this picture of what's titled The Egg of Life. And it's looks almost exactly like the blueprints or the layout of the floor, where you have one circle in the middle, and then 6 concentric circles laid out around it, overlapping a little bit in each one. And she says, this is where, this is what it looks like. This is called the Egg of Life. It's derived from another symbol called the Flower of Life. And all of these are based on something called Metatron's Cube. Go ahead and give me occult rolls.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I make it hard, make it.
Cool. And so as soon as she says Metatron's Cube, you instantly, you remember some things about this, that the Metatron, which is in Christian, Jewish, and Islamic scripture, it was supposedly one of the most powerful angels in heaven. The Metatron was basically a scribe charged with recording history of the human race itself. And there are a number of different shapes that can be derived from Metatron, and patterns that supposedly derived from Metatron himself. And these are very powerful symbols that are used for protection, and they basically draw on the angel's power to keep away demons and other spirits. And the Egg of Life, which is what the blueprints look like, are an exact derivation of Metatron's Cube, which is where all these are based off of.
Very interesting.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks.
If you guys find anything cool over there, let me know. I can always with show business, I can always resell it for you.
Well, yeah, we plan on it.
Okay, great.
We'll head back to the hotel.
Well,
Yeah, I agree.
well, you guys don't have a hotel in Stornoway. You were just going to head over to the other town, Carloway, which is where.
Okay, then we head there.
Okay, I assume you guys will pick up Dave on the way.
Sure.
Of course.
So you guys will get there probably about an hour or so after William, Ianto, and Donald make it there. William, Ianto, and Donald, you drive through the countryside. It's a nice drive, but it's very boring. There's it's beautiful land, but after the first 30 minutes, that's all you're seeing, and so it gets very old very quick. But you pull into Carloway, and Carloway is a very small town, small compared to the cities that you're used to. You pass a bunch of houses, but they're really spread out. There are a lot of farms, and as you pull into town, you kind of come down the main street. You see a number of small businesses, shops, restaurants. You even see like a doctor's office, and you end up on the street. And as you look down one end of the street, it goes down into the harbor, and then at the opposite end of the street is the Great Northwestern Hotel.
All right. Why don't you wait here for a moment? I'll go in and tell them that we've arrived, and then tell them that the others will be here in an hour or so, and then we can make our way to the harbor.
No problem. Me and Donald will just make small talk, guys. So when I look through the back seat to Donald, and I smile at him.
So I go into the office, the front end of the hotel. And,
Okay.
Feskarma, hello.
Yeah, hello. And you walk into the hotel, and the hotel's just to give you a quick description. It's 2 stories. It looks not too bad. It actually looks relatively new, like it was built within the last couple of years. But as soon as you walk in, it's got a distinctly older feeling. There's a lot of like medieval decorations, suits of armor, swords and shields hanging along the walls with like mounted deer heads. Definitely giving you that touristy feel for it. But there's a man behind the desk. Looks to be in his early 30s. Brownish hair, wearing a suit and tie. And a little name tag that says Richard Carlisle, manager. And as soon as you walk in, he welcomes you and says, yes, can I help you?
Yes, we are here. We called earlier. I'm with the other side, television broadcasting.
Yes, we're expecting you.
Yes, some of us have arrived. Most of us that have arrived need to go elsewhere and begin our business. But the others will arrive probably within an hour or two.
Okay.
I just wanted to check in and make sure that everything was all right. Can I get the keys, or can I get at least 2 of the keys, 3 of the keys?
Yeah, absolutely. And he kind of turns around, and all the keys are hanging on little hooks behind the desk next to mail slots. And you see that there are 10 guest rooms, numbered 1 through 10. There are keys for all of them there except for room number 1. And he kind of hands, starting with 2 through however many you want to take. If you wanted to take all of them, kind of grabs them for you, hands them to you, and
no, just 3 of them. The others will be here. There should be 6 in total. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So he hands you rooms 2, 3, and 4. Explains that they're all on the second level. The rooms 2 and 4 have a nice view of the harbor, whereas room 3 has a wonderful view of the back hillsides.
All right. That's lovely. Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. So will you need anything right now, or are you just going to wait for everybody else?
At the moment, we have to go down to the harbor and charter a ship. We're going to be heading to the island of Eileen Moore.
This late?
Do you think that it's probably too late? How's the weather? Has it been windy?
Well, it's always windy. You're going to have that no matter what time of day you go out. My only concern would be, if you head out now, it'll be after dark by the time you probably start heading back. Do you have are you going out yourself?
Well, part of the crew, we're with the ITD studios. You've probably heard of us. We have a show called
Yes.
The Other Side, yes. Well, we were hoping to go and scout out the island. How long will it take to reach the Flannan Islands from here?
They're only about 20 miles away, so it shouldn't take you more than 30 or 40 minutes by boat, assuming that the weather's okay, and the weather should be okay.
But it will be nighttime before we come back. I'm not sure. It may be that we delay until tomorrow before we go out. I'll check with the other producer.
He says, not a problem at all. And if you decide the pub in the back here will start serving food in about an hour, so you are more than welcome to come, and food is included in the bill. The studios have already contacted us to make sure everything was set up. So
excellent.
You're good there.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
So I go back out and I find William. I guess we can proceed. The proprietor inside says that it's a little late to be leaving. He's afraid that we'll be traveling in the dark coming back, and it's quite windy.
A little late.
We should perhaps wait until tomorrow.
I look at my watch. What does it say?
It's about 4:30.
I look and I say, well, I mean, if we find a boat in the next hour, head out there by 6, we'd be heading back before dark, or right at dark. But I turn to the back seat and I say, it's really up to our DP.
Well, I'd rather head out in the morning. I mean, that way we've got a whole day over there.
We've had a long drive and a long flight before that. You were concerned earlier with safety, and I think that perhaps for safety's sake, we should be a little cautious and not too eager. But perhaps we can go and secure a boat for tomorrow morning.
We can definitely do that.
Well, I believe that's the port right there. So,
Donald, what would you like to do with the equipment?
do you want to put it in the rooms?
Yes.
By the way, here are your keys. I shall take number 2. I would suggest, William, you take number 3, and you may have number 4.
All right. So I'll step out of the car and I'll say, well, we'll put the gear in Donald's room. There's a lot. And I open the back seat, and I guess I begin taking out like the LED lights and the C-stands and stuff like that.
Right. And I shall help you.
Right.
Me too.
I hope so. We should do all the work.
The proprietor has informed me that you'll have a rather lovely view, Donald, from your room.
But if I can see it, there'll probably be loads of boxes piled up in front of the window.
Well, you can store some of this in my room if you wish, but I imagine you're rather possessive of it.
Well, it'll be going out over in the morning anyway. At least this way I can keep an eye on it.
There's also a very nice pub in the back, and the food is already been paid for by ITD, so enjoy your evening. So we carry all the stuff in.
Okay, not a problem.
And as we come inside, I say to the guy behind the desk, I say, we've decided that we're going to postpone our trip until tomorrow, but we're probably going to go to the harbor in a few minutes to secure a boat.
Oh, okay.
To save time. I learned this at 3 a.m. one time. I look at the manager and I say, "Do you have one of the hotel carts that you put your luggage on?"
Like, oh yes, and he kind of walks around the corner, comes back with one of those little push carts.
And I say, "Thank you very much." And I take that out and I just load all the gear on that, all the boxes, and then just start carting it away.
I'm sorry. So, what was your name again?
Richard Carlisle.
Richard. Thank you, Mr. Carlisle.
Yes. And as William goes out and he's pulling all the gear in, he starts pushing it back in. At this time, Karen, Irene, and Dave pull up and get out of the car.
All right, so I guess I go. I explain to the patron at the people at the front desk that we're with other side and Chris probably showed up a little earlier.
I said, yes, no problem, and hands you the last 3 keys, rooms 4, 5, and 6. And just like the others,
Awesome.
She explained,
Okay.
they're on the 2nd floor, all right next to each other.
Mm-hmm. So up we go into our rooms and get our stuff moved in, and I figure over dinner we're probably going to share all the information we've uncovered.
Okay. So are you guys gonna go to dinner now, or I thought I heard that you were gonna go down to the harbor?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're going to go down to the harbor.
Okay.
I'm surprised you arrived so quickly. Who drove?
Well, I drove.
You drive then like a maniac if you arrived here so quickly. we've only just arrived ourselves.
Haven't been caught speeding yet.
Well, get you. There's not many policemen out there in the countryside. Why don't you get yourself settled? We're going to go secure a boat for tomorrow morning, and we'll meet you in the pub.
I hate boats.
All right, not a problem.
I grab the production schedule and the equipment rental list, and I'm going to hand it off to Donald. Donald is not here, but I simply say to him, "Why don't you go through the checklist and make sure we have everything here? Nothing was left behind."
I believe he's getting some tea.
I'm gonna put it in his room and write a note that says, "Check all this stuff.
Well,
make sure it's all here." So,
You sure you don't just want me to do it?
I look at Ianto and I say, "Do you let the researcher?"
No, he's very possessive of his equipment. Why don't you just take it easy? You've had a long day.
Fine.
And I pull out some cigarettes and I say, "All right, let's head down to the harbor." I plop one in my mouth.
Oh, there he is. Donald, take your fingers out of your ears, please.
Aye.
Donald. Here's William is giving you the list so that you can check. But we're going to go check. We're going to get a boat for tomorrow. You can go over
Sounds
the.
like a good idea to me.
Yeah. Karen said that she would assist you if you wanted, but I know how you feel about your equipment.
Well, everything's just packed up. I mean, as long as the seals aren't broken, it's still as it should have been. I'll check a few things anyway, just in case anything got damaged.
Yeah,
Right,
the lenses especially.
Hopefully, we'll see you all in about an hour at the pub. There's a very nice pub. The food is already paid for. Have whatever you want.
And I begin walking down the hallway, cigarette in my mouth. I'm gonna light it as I'm walking through the lobby and out the door.
Okay.
You must enjoy the fact that you can smoke here.
I don't know if I can smoke here.
You don't see anything preventing you from doing that. Is it just the 2 of you going down to the harbor?
I think so.
Okay. So the 2 of you go down to the harbor. There's you can even see now that there's a lot of wind as it's kicking up from the ocean, the smell of salt air hitting your face, and you go down to the harbor master. It's a small building. Walk in. There's a woman behind a standing counter. who she's talking on the phone. And William, you instantly recognize her as Katrina Trent, the woman who you talked to on the phone previously. She kind of gives you the finger, hold on 1 second motion, and then after about a minute, hangs up the phone and says, "Yes, can I help you?"
So, okay, go ahead, Ianto. I'm still smoking.
I was just going to say, Feskarma, I believe you've already spoken to William here. We are from the other side. We were going to charter a boat. I think, though, that it's probably wise if we do this for tomorrow morning.
She says, "Yeah, you're probably right. We don't have any boats ready. It would take probably about an hour to make sure that any boats that you rented would be ready to go, although we can have one for you ready bright and early in the morning."
I'm not sure who we were supposed to talk to. That's William you were speaking, so I'll let you take over.
So I pluck the cigarette out of my mouth, and I say, "Well, we've just arrived, but I'm hoping that the fishermen that you recommended me, Scott and Charlie, that they're still here, that we can catch them here before they head up to the pub. Do you know if they're still here?"
She said Charlie actually had to go, but Scott McGregor, I was able to get a hold of him, and he said he is willing to take you out.
Well, awesome. That's great. Do you possibly maybe have like a number for him? I can call him in the morning.
Yes, and she kind of hands you the number.
I say, "Wonderful." Oh, my apologies. And I open up the pack and I say, "Do you want one?"
She says, "No, I'm trying to quit. Thanks."
And I hold it out to Ianto.
I'm sorry, what are you handing me? Your cigarette?
I'm handing you a cigarette if you want one.
Oh, no, thank you, no.
And I shrug and I put the pack back into my coat pocket and I take another drag. And I say, "Well, if Scott already said that he'd be willing to take us, and with this number, I don't see any reason to get down here. Do you want Ianto, or unless you have any questions?"
No, not at all. What's the weather like, Miss Brady? What does it look like the weather will be in the morning? Any idea?
It should be nice. I've looked at the weather. There's a storm brewing out in the ocean, but it's not likely to get here for another 2 days. So there may be some increased winds and waves because of that, but nothing that you won't be able to handle. If you said you were going over to the island?
We're going to Eileen Mall, yes.
Yes. You shouldn't have any problems getting over there. Just remember that, just like it is here, it's pretty windy out there. The waves can get really choppy. There's really no port there. There's a place you can tie up the boat, so you shouldn't have any issues with that.
Do you know if there's a weather station nearby that we can perhaps tie an app on our phones to, so that we aren't actually planning on staying on the island? We're planning on staying here, so we would like to be able to get enough warning if there's a storm coming to get back.
The boats have weather radios in it and things back to the mainland. I don't know if you're going to get any signals all the way out there.
All right, we'll cope. Thank you very much.
Yes, of course. And you turn around to step out, and she goes, "Oh, I'm just curious. You're going out there to film. Is that right? You're filming the lighthouse?"
Yes. Are you familiar with our show, The Other Side?
I can't say that I am. I don't watch a lot of TV. Sorry.
Well, for all intents and purposes, it's a ghost hunting show.
Oh.
And there are some interesting legends that have to do with the island and some of the structures upon there. So we're just making a show.
Okay. Well, it's... Yeah, you'll want to talk to Francesca Brady. She up at the hotel. She goes over there a lot to tend the gardens over there in that house that's over there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was talking to Francesca Brady.
No, this is Katrina.
Yeah, this is the harbor master.
I'm sorry. think I called you Miss Brady. I'm so sorry.
She says, I'll be interested to definitely watch your show on it. We don't get very many people going out there. In fact, I think other than anybody going out there for the lighthouse maintenance, it's really just Francesca going out.
Well, if you know any interesting stories, we have a couple of researchers, and of course the star of our show. I'm sure you'll meet him. He tends to have his finger in a lot of different pies. You see.
Okay.
He's very gregarious. He'll make friends with you, no doubt. The ladies, they are quite competent researchers. So if they ask any questions, if you have any information, we're not researchers, so we're only mildly interested.
She says, whatever they want to ask me. I'm not sure how much I can tell, but anything that I can do to help drum up business around here, it's only going to help me. So I have no problem with that.
Also, Mr. Carlisle over at the hotel said that his estimate was it takes about 20 minutes to get to the Flannan Islands. Is that correct?
No, it's probably going to be more like 30 or 40 minutes. It's about 20 miles. And with the waves, once you get closer to that, the ride itself is probably only going to take you about 25 minutes. But, getting out of the harbor and, kind of docking over there, it's going to be about 40 minutes from ship to shore.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Be careful. Like I said, it's, not a lot of people go over there, and, with the lighthouse, you should have no problem getting in there. That house over there, another story, but good luck.
I'm sorry, what was your name again, please?
Katrina.
Your last name?
Trent.
Trent. Thank you.
Katrina, what were you saying that the house is a completely other thing?
I'm sorry, say that again?
You said that the lighthouse was fine, but the house was a completely other thing. What did you mean by that statement?
Oh, just that, that house has been bricked up since, everybody disappeared. I'm not sure how you're going to get into it. I mean, Francesca has shown me some pictures that she's taken of the gardens, which is absolutely beautiful, but the only entrance that I ever saw was all bricked up. I'm not sure if you were planning on trying to get into it, but you're not going to be able to.
Why was it bricked up?
I don't know. I think once all the people were lost at sea, maybe they did that to keep people from going into it, so you didn't have tourists going over there, or explorers, or people wanting to go and catch a glimpse of the house that all these people were killed over, or after having seen. I don't know.
Perhaps we need a bit of more. I'm saying this to William, a bit more heavy-duty equipment. We were under the impression by Mrs. Glass, the architect's ex-wife, that we could just get in. She, in fact, gave us the keys. But if it's been bricked up, we'll have to be a bit more intuitive. I don't know what the word is.
Intuitive?
Ingenious?
Ingenious in getting into it.
We might need a generator.
What was that?
True.
I mean, I know we were told there was a generator at the building, but we need power tools to get into the building. We might need a small generator to run the power tools to get in the building to get to the big generator.
Donald, when did you get here?
I've been here for ages.
You snuck right up behind us.
I've been here for... Did you not notice me coming in?
No.
Well, last I saw you were back at the place doing inventory, making sure all your equipment was there.
I made a mistake, sorry.
I thought perhaps it all took you all of 2 minutes to do that, and you just followed us here.
I offer you a cigarette too. I guess you're here now.
Well, we're just about to head back. Let's go get something to eat.
They're saying that the house is bricked up. Like,
yes, we probably really need to get a sledgehammer.
a sledgehammer. Why give us the key to a house to break it up? This seems pointless.
She hasn't been here in 8 years. She probably didn't know. It may have been somebody else who did it for, I don't know, is there a mayor or somebody governing the area?
I'll call.
They didn't want vandals there?
How about this? Let me call the lawyer. She's handling the estate right now.
Yes, that's Valerie Irvine.
Yeah, I'll call Valerie. I already called her yesterday, and I talked to her then. Maybe there's some sort of mistake. Maybe people think that it was bricked up, but it wasn't. Who knows?
We'll know tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll call her tomorrow morning while you guys are loading up. All right?
Of course.
All right.
Well, let's go. Let's go back. Good evening, Miss Trent.
Yeah, have a good evening too. The boat will be ready for you bright and early in the morning, and I'll make sure that McGregor is here to take you over.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, you two are back, are you? I was looking for you.
What are you doing outside the shipmasters?
I've just been wandering about.
You know,
It only took me 10 minutes to check the stuff over. I mean, I've been, having a look around.
You walk in without announcing yourself. You walk out. You're walking around the car. You're antsy, Donald.
I've long suspected, Mr. Mackay, that you were in fact either twins or triplets, and you've been fooling us all these years.
Well, I had a couple of glasses of Buckfast, and it's got a lot of caffeine in it, and I'm just a little bit wired.
We are going to head to the pub and get something to eat. The others should already be in there, probably half drunk.
Aye, yeah. Well, okay. I mean, did you find out? Have we got a boat?
We've secured transportation for tomorrow morning. Yes.
That's good.
When I get in the passenger seat, I'll let Ianto drive.
All right. So I drive back to the hotel. It's just up the road, right? We could have walked.
Yeah.
I walked. Only took me 5 minutes. So I knew you were down there. I saw the car there.
I'm afraid William comes from that world where everybody drives to the corner market, which is literally just around the corner.
Yeah. Usually we have PAs that just drive us between the locations, but I guess Donald's everything. He can't be a PA.
If we had such things in the budget, that would be awesome.
I don't mind carrying my own gear, and I don't mind doing the lighting and the sound, even though contractually I shouldn't be. But I draw the line at being a bloody runner. And get someone else to do that.
You're not paid for that sort of thing anyway.
Damn right I'm not.
All right.
You're onto my union rep. You're trying to make me do that. We'll be out. Industrial action. One out, all out.
You get back to the hotel. The other three are already in there in the pub eating whatever standard in food they have. And this is
man, these Scotch eggs are delicious.
Scotch eggs. Shepherd's pie, my dear.
Steak and kidney.
Yeah, started, calm down.
So this is the first time you guys are all together since the morning.
I am thinking that tonight would be the perfect night for a seance.
How interesting, as I grabbed my food and walked to my room.
You should go for a walk. I just went for a walk. Lovely place.
I think maybe once we get to the island, we should conduct a seance. Surely we'll get some activity there.
Yanto, give me an idea roll.
All right. 95. I ain't got no ideas.
The ale is really good.
The ale is really good.
I've got an idea. I'm going to have another pint of Tennant's.
Let's
I really shouldn't, but I will too.
let's make sure that if you want to conduct some sort of a seance, that we find a place that is quite picturesque and perfect for filming it, because otherwise it's just a waste of time.
So, as you're saying that, even though you've all had a couple drinks, you say that finding someplace perfect and picturesque, and you think that the reason that you're in this hotel is this was the last place that Patrick Raleigh and Nathan Gloss stayed, and so perhaps you could use one of the rooms that they stayed in to conduct the seance.
That's not a bad idea, yes. Do you guys want to see if you can contact their spirits and find out if they're passengers on the Viking ship or if the little people have taken them?
Sure.
Wait.
Let me go ask Mr. Carlyle if he's still available.
Yes. So you walk back to the front, and Carlyle is there, and you ask him about that, and he says, the rooms, if I remember right, that they stayed in were rooms 1 and 3. One of you is staying in room 3, but we have another guest that's staying in room 1. I can't let you into.
Well,
then we'll use room 3.
Do the rooms look similar?
Yes, they're exactly the same they were, 9 years ago.
Well,
obviously, people have stayed in there since then, but
if William doesn't mind, we can just use his room. Thank you very much, Mr. Carlyle.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you need anything, let us know. The staff stays here on site. We have some rooms in the back, so if you need anything throughout the night, feel free to let us know.
All right, of course. So I go back and I say, well, apparently they stayed in rooms 1 and 3, but there's a guest currently in number 1. He says all the rooms look very similar, so why don't we just do it in 3, and we can say whatever we want on the TV show. Nobody's going to check on us.
Well, we could get some footage now.
Actually, you might as well just pick which room amongst our 6 rooms looks the best. If they all look the same, then...
Well, obviously we should do it in room 3, because that was one of the rooms that they stayed in, and we're staying in one of those rooms.
It really shouldn't matter.
Well, let's do that then. Let's go into room...
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's up to of course, up to William. It's his room.
I suppose you want me to unpack the gear then?
Oh, we could do this tomorrow night or some other night. I do whatever you want.
Well, we've got to take the gear over to the island tomorrow, so...
That's true.
We have to do it tonight.
We get a little shot, yeah. Just nothing too...
All right, well, we will do that after it's over. I'll go and... I'll wait until after closing time when the hotel's a bit quieter. I'll get a few sort of a bit of atmospheric B-roll around the corridor and things. And
Mr. Preston, William, do you mind if we use your room?
Well, I'm actually in my room eating.
Oh.
I literally grabbed my food and was just like, bye, and I just left. I'm not part of your crew.
All right, you take the food from the restaurant and you walk to your room.
Yep. I take it in a little container.
The Americans have absolutely no manners whatsoever.
No, we don't.
He really doesn't like us, does he?
I don't think he likes or dislikes us. I think he's indifferent. He thinks about money. And that's his job. So, we could do it in room 2. That's my room. I don't really care. But if you want to do it in 3, let's ask him. Let me just call him on the phone.
Let's just ask him first.
Yes. I say questioningly as...
Mr. Preston, I'm so sorry to interrupt your meal. We've just found out that Mr. Glass, or possibly Mr. Raleigh, stayed in the room that you're in. and the investigative team would like to conduct a seance this evening, and we want to film it before we take the equipment to the island tomorrow. Would you mind allowing us to use your room?
So I take about 5 seconds before you just hear a chuckle come through the phone. I said, so you're saying I'm staying in the room of someone who disappeared about a decade ago or near a decade ago?
Well, that's probably true of any hotel that one stays in. There's probably been rapes, murders, and various other things that have taken place in every single room. Your room is probably currently completely covered in semen. But, yes.
You know just how to talk me down, don't you, Yanto?
If you'd rather not, then we can switch rooms.
William, give me a sanity check as you glance around the room.
You really want me to give you a sanity? All right, I'll give you a sanity check. Let's see. See what I got. I got a 33. What's my sanity? It's got to be higher than that. 70. All right, I passed. I take 1d6. No other semen all over.
A shiver goes up your spine, but other than that, you're okay.
Could be worse. You could have a black light.
We have one of those.
Oh, we'll take the black light and move it around the room.
I pause for about 5 seconds and then say, my bags will be outside of your room. I would like it if you came and opened the door so I could put my bags inside.
All right. We'll be there in a few moments.
And I hang up.
Right. What story shall we cook up to tell him that took place in my room?
I can think of a few.
Perhaps we could release one of those rats like we did once before. See what he would do.
Well, we could do it like what happened at the theater that one time, and we could dress up in a ghost costume and spook him. One of the backup masks that we made for that.
You need to take things a little bit more
Remember that?
seriously.
Perhaps.
Come on, we are in
Well,
on
if we're going to
vacation
do this,
the night before we're going to a spooky island. Give me a break.
I must confess that I'm a bit tired. So let's get this over with and done. I've offered to switch rooms with him so that he can have my room and I shall have his.
Can someone help me with these lights?
I'm sorry, sir.
Help me with these lights.
Of course. Let's all help Mr. Mackay.
So we get the room set up for a seance.
Okay.
And I go into it. I call for the spirits and go about the whole process of it, ignoring their disbelief.
No, we have to do it. Don't tell us who's done it. Let's do the seance.
Yes, I agree.
Do I have to take part, or can I just stand over here in the corner and watch?
Taking part.
Wouldn't make any sense for me to take part. I'm not part of the show.
Yeah, just the three of them. A bit shiny. We really could have done with makeup. I'm surprised that no one thought to book.
They can edit it in post.
They don't have their own makeup kits? You didn't bring your makeup kits?
I already did my makeup. I always do my makeup every morning. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying that Dave's looking a little bit shiny. That's all I'm saying. Maybe move over to the other side of the table so he's not got the light straight on him or something. I don't know. Can you?
Okay,
Karen,
can you
put a little bit of powder on him or something? Just on his nose and his cheekbones.
You have that transparent,
a little bit of a shine.
the transparent powder. You can use that.
Yeah, I go ahead and do that. I help him out with that.
I sigh in the other room as I can hear their argument probably through the walls, and I just continue reading my book.
Hang on. I can't find my clapperboard. Oh no, there it is. Right, yeah, I've got it. Okay.
You want me to hold it for you? Oh,
No,
okay.
it's all right. I've done it. It's fine.
All right, so you're all gathered around holding hands. Irene is concentrating, doing what she normally does for the seance. Donald is there filming it. So you're kind of standing back a little bit, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Irene, go ahead and lose 2 magic points and give me a POW roll.
Power roll. All right. Let me get up here to power. Power?
Yes, POW.
Ooh, easy. 4.
Oh, so you always hear the spirits, and in fact, to you, you've heard the spirits for so long that it's really just background noise to you. But when you sit down and concentrate, like when you're doing a seance, that's when you start to hear them more clearly. And you sit down, and as you're holding everybody's hands, being in this room, you can feel the spirits around you, and you start to reach out, reaching out to try to contact individual spirits. So who are you trying to contact first?
Riley.
So you reach out, trying to contact Patrick Raleigh. You reach out, and you're met with failure. And it's not that you can't contact him, or that his ghost or his spirit isn't responding back to you. It's just there's nothing there for you to contact. And you've had this before. You've had this happen to you before. And when that's happened, it usually means that that person has not yet crossed over to the spirit world. Typically meaning that they're not dead.
All right. What about the other guy?
Nathan Glass.
Yes.
You go and you reach out to him as well, trying to find him. And you reach out and you call out to him. And you feel that something has heard you, that there's a spirit that's out there that as you call out to him, you're making contact with, but they are refusing to answer your call. This is a little bit unusual, and it actually concerns you a little bit because spirits, when you call out to them, you've never had it happen where they refuse to honor your call and contact you back. This one is not for some reason.
Virginia Bell.
So you reach out. Virginia Bell was one of the surveyors who was out there, or who got lost.
Right.
You feel that you're making some type of connection. But it's only just barely. Give me a sanity check.
Oops. Nope.
So take a D3 in insanity. Because as you reach out to Virginia Bell, you're met with resistance. Again, this seems very concerning and odd to you. And as you try harder, you try to reach out again, and your mind gets flooded with this image, and all the images is of darkness, and not just darkness and blackness, a pure malevolent darkness floods into your brain, and you hear a voice. Then all that voice is saying is dark, and with that, your eyes snap open and you're bleeding from your nose. The others that are in the room with you, all of you make a sanity check as well, because Irene is sweating buckets. Those who were holding her hand, she has squeezed it even more tightly than before. And you've seen her do seances before, but you've never seen anything like this.
Pass.
If you pass, you only lose 1.
What if you fail?
D3 if you fail.
Irene, are you all right?
That was rough.
It's
That was
quite
rough.
a performance, Irene. But yeah, here's a handkerchief.
Jesus Christ,
Thank
you're bleeding.
I think I know what's going on.
I've got all of that, by the way.
Excellent.
Raleigh
Well, what?
Raleigh is not on the other side. He's not dead. And the other guy, I can't remember his name. They're resisting me. It's almost like they're trapped inside the house, and the Faraday cage is keeping them trapped.
Spirits themselves are being trapped?
Yes, they won't answer. They seem to be reluctant to answer.
And what made you sweat so badly? Are you? I'm actually kind of concerned now.
It takes it out of you. Reaching to the other side of the pail is always cost prohibitive.
Yes, but I've never seen you bleed from the nose like that before.
Maybe when we get closer, when we get on the island, I'll be able to pick up more.
All right. Cut it off here, guys. Decent enough footage for now. And maybe get to bed. Especially Irene, I think you need more rest than most of us.
I'll be okay.
If you're sure, you know my room's right next to yours.
Well done, everybody. Please let me help Donald take the equipment away and enjoy your evening.
Yeah, just get it in my room, and I'll.
Yeah, I'll help
pack it
Donald
up
pick up his
after.
stuff as well.
Okay.
I didn't check to see if there's Wi-Fi here. You'll want to upload that footage for security.
Yeah, there is Wi-Fi. It's the internet access. There you do have internet access there. It's not the fastest in the world. Kind of bordering on pre-broadband, but at least you have something.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So
Right.
as everybody kind of cleans up and helps put things away and walks out into the hallway to go back to their rooms, everybody give me a spot hidden roll.
Ooh, 2.
Hey.
Made it.
So as you walk out into the hallway, everybody's just kind of processing everything that they see, or everything that happened this evening, and you all just out of reflex glance over at room number 1, the room which Patrick Raleigh supposedly stayed in, and those who passed it, you notice that all of the hotel doors for the floor have key slots, like normal, actual physical keys, except room 1. Room 1 has a key card slot as its lock.
So it has the only modern lock. We all have old-fashioned locks.
Yes.
That's
pretty
odd.
interesting. Perhaps they're just beginning installing
Why?
them.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
Perhaps a salesman came and showed them how it works, but he hasn't installed the others yet. But it is odd.
About that in the morning, just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. I am going to bed.
Yeah, same. Good evening. Sleep well.
Everybody heads back to their room. Ianto, right as you're getting ready for bed, you excuse me. Right as you're getting ready for bed, your phone rings.
Who's calling at this hour?
Caller ID says it's Terrence Stone.
Sorry, it's evening. Who is this? Terrence, is this you?
Yeah, yes, it is. Ianto, listen, sorry I'm calling you so late. I wanted to make sure, I saw that you guys had left early. I wanted to make sure that you guys had gotten over there okay. You didn't have any problems with the room or anything like that?
None whatsoever. It's actually quite a charming little place. We're in Storn. The hell's the name of the place?
Great Northwestern Hotel.
Oh yes, the Great Northwestern Hotel. And tomorrow morning we have a boat scheduled to take us over to Eileen Moor, and we'll get our first glimpse of the house. Now, somebody here said something about the house being bricked up, but I hope they don't mind if we force our way inside.
I think that's news to me that it would be bricked up.
I believe it's probably news to them as well, because they gave us the key to get inside.
Yeah, they gave us the key and they gave us the permission to go in. So I would say that you have permission to get through the bricks if you can. Just make it look good. Get it on film. Make sure it looks good.
Well, we just had a seance in the room where I believe where Mr. Glass last stayed, and Eileen put on quite a performance. I don't know how she manages to make her nose bleed like that, but it was quite theatrical.
Excellent.
Quite convincingly real, but she's a good actor.
Oh, well, good. I can already feel our ratings going up. And listen, that's kind of the reason why I wanted to call you. Kind of an ulterior motive here. We did just get the recent ratings in for the show, and they're not good. I'm not going to lie to you. As long as the show goes well, you're already guaranteed the next season. But I'm not going to lie. We're getting beat by things going on the Sci-Fi Channel and AMC. Walking Dead is getting higher ratings than we are, and we shouldn't be. What I'm trying to say is, William, he's there to kind of help make this final decision as to what happens with the show next year or next season. Whether or not we keep you on for a full season or whether it's only a partial season. So please make sure that he gets anything that he needs, and when it comes down to it, he may have the final say.
Yes, I understand. I fully understand. I believe that from what they were saying at dinner, that there's quite a lot of interesting folklore about the area. So, of course, Donald will be uploading the footage. You should be able to view it probably by tomorrow, what we've got so far, which is simply the seance. Keep an eye on it, and hopefully if you have any ideas of shots that you want, you'll see some of the background. And keep in touch.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see what you guys have, and definitely call me tomorrow and let me know what happened while you're on the island.
Of course. You have a good evening, Terence.
You too.
Click.
All right. Click, and then William, almost immediately after that, your phone rings.
I pick up immediately and I say, hello?
Hey, William, this is Terrence Stone.
Terrence, good to talk to you. What's going on?
Hey, I just talked to Yanto. I just wanted to make sure that you were getting everything that you needed.
Well, I have some concerns, but the crew is incredibly small, for one. To me, how much you're putting a lot of money into this, and yet you only got one director of photography who's doing everything. You've also got two researchers, but in my opinion, I think you could probably cut one. Dave is essential to the show. If you want to keep the show, you have to keep him on. And then Ianto, I think that Ianto is doing a good job. Problem is that these people are his friends, and they've been together for 7 seasons, so they don't want anyone to leave or be fired. So keeping Ianto is important, especially to maintain that kind of morale. But I have problems with the way that this is going. Okay. What are your opinions?
Well, some of the executives have been kind of feeling the same things that you're saying, and that's kind of the reason why you're there. You're new to the show. We wanted a fresh look, and if you come back with those recommendations, we'll probably be implementing some of them. Look, the show's been doing well. it's getting enough ratings to keep it going for another season at least, especially if the show does well and we get all the money from it. But based on your recommendations, if we need to kind of cut the cast, maybe that's what we need to do. If we need to get some new faces on it, that could help bring the ratings up as well. Look, it really comes down to what you say and your observations, I think.
I think that 100% to cut down costs, get rid of one of the researchers. You only need one. You need one and the producer, and then maybe Dave does some researching. It depends on how he acts. But as far as Donald, I haven't seen his reel or anything like that. I don't know what he does or how well he does it. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. If they provide good enough dailies, I'll call you first thing in the evening and say, hey, it's great. Don't even worry about it. It's going to be great. But you've got, Terrence, you got one guy running sound. You got one guy running lights. You got one guy running audio. You got one guy doing directing and everything. Like, having one guy do all of this it's bad form, and the show is probably not doing well because of this one dude. I say get him, cut one of the researchers, provide him with just another pair of hands. But like I said, I'll see what it's like tomorrow. If he provides good stuff, he provides good stuff.
And this is the first that I'm hearing a lot of this, actually. So I'm glad you're bringing it up. And maybe what we need to do is have a change in production there as well. I mean, could be talking to somebody who would be good for that job.
I light a cigarette and I lean back in my chair and say, well, with the sale of the house, and as you say, you're getting a percentage. You probably invest that money long-ish term in a production designer and maybe an audio guy. Makeup, you don't need that. And I take a drag of my cigarette and I say, well, if you have any more questions, I'm more than happy to help. I'm going to talk to Donald tomorrow. He seems a little frustrated about the situation. So
okay.
Maybe I'll see how that goes. I take a drag.
Okay, excellent. Well, I look forward to hearing from you tomorrow.
Yep, no problem. I'll keep my eye on Yanto too. He's a good guy, though. He's young. I wouldn't want to see him immediately out on his ass. He's invested 7 years into this show. So
okay, all right. Like we said, or like I said, we'll kind of be listening for your recommendations.
All right, and I say, bye-bye, Terrence, and I hang up the phone. I throw it on the side table. I sigh, and I just look up at the ceiling, and I just kind of stay up for maybe another hour or two.
Okay. All right. Then night passes. Unless anybody is going to do anything that night, you all wake up early in the morning and get breakfast, I guess, and get ready for the day.
Just a light continental breakfast with some toast and some jam. I go knock on William's door.
And I open it, and I'm eating an apple.
When do we need to get everybody down to the docks?
Well, come on in, and I open the door, and I just leave the door open. I walk into my room. There's a big pile of papers on the bed. I've been up since probably about 5:30, and I kind of ruffle through it, and I pull out the production schedule. And I say, well, I'm thinking that we get everyone up by 7. We head down to the dock 7:30. We'll get on the boat, and we'll head out nice and early. Sun will be rising. It'll be great.
That gives us about 20 minutes, I think. Is that all you're eating? Did you want something more?
Oh, no. Like I said, a little bit in the morning, a little bit in the evening. I'm all set.
Well, good. Do you have a thermos? You want some coffee?
No, I'll be all right. I smile and I hold up my pack of cigarettes and I say, "These are the only thing I need."
Ah, nicotine.
Yes. Why don't you go get Dave up? I'll go make sure that Donald's up and has everything ready to go, and then I'll go grab a cart and start loading everything up.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm not sure which room down David took, but I'll go get this up.
All right.
So I go knock door to door, knock knock knock. Get your asses out of bed.
I'm already up.
Can always count on you, Leandro, can't we? Can we get some coffee downstairs first? I'm a little...
Yes, there is piping hot coffee downstairs. They have sort of a continental breakfast. We need to leave in about 20 minutes.
Understandable. I'll get my stuff together and I should be ready in, say, 20 minutes after I'm done with breakfast.
Okay. In fact, I maybe I take the opportunity to just go downstairs and get a tray with some cups of coffee while they're getting dressed. I'll come back up with the coffee and I'll just hand it out to them, just to be nice.
Leandro's nice.
Just some coffee.
And I will approach Donald's room, and I'll knock on the door, assuming that he's. I assume he's already awake. So I just knock.
I'm awake. You're right there, big man.
Yep, I'm fine.
A croissant, by the way.
No. Mm-mm.
Oh well. More for me.
More for you. And I smile and I say,
I love me a croissant in the morning.
Everything all set up. I've got the cart here, so we can start loading up.
All right, I'll just finish my breakfast and I'll start moving the stuff on.
Oh, I can help you. I was a grip once.
Well.
I smile.
All right, I'll just let me just put this down.
All right, and I'll kind of step in. I'm assuming
it's
it's
jam on anything.
Wouldn't want to get jam on anything, especially that camera.
The last thing you want to do is get jam on it.
Yep.
I've already taken my coffee and I've headed downstairs and am eating. And probably on my second cup of coffee by now, actually.
I'm ready to go.
I'm moseying on down too.
All right, so everybody gets together. William and Donald take the equipment out, and just to speed things along a little bit, you head down to the harbor, and there is a boat waiting for you with a gentleman on it, probably in his early 60s, gray hair, wearing kind of a raincoat and captain's hat, and introduces himself as I believe it was McGregor. He invites you on to the boat, and as you start loading the equipment on, you see the boat is really more of what you would consider probably a fishing boat. Nothing luxurious, but it's going to get you from the harbor here to the island. As you get all your equipment in, you're able to pack it away, seal it up without an issue, and then if anybody wants to do anything prior to you shoving off,
I've brought myself a packed lunch.
Yes, Mr. McGregor, what does the weather look like for today?
It looks good. I think we'll have a good some smooth sailing over to the island. And then, once we get there, it shouldn't be a problem to dock there for the day for as long as you need. Katrina said I didn't really discuss payment with her. I assume that's something that I'll be able to do with you. My normal rates are usually 100 for the day. Is that acceptable?
Does that seem high?
No, it seems appropriate.
And we assumed that travel costs would be actually more than that, so...
That seems quite reasonable, sir.
It's like, excellent. So you get on the boat, and the boat I'm sorry. Did anybody want to do anything else beforehand? I didn't want to cut anybody off.
Well, we did want to pick up like a sledgehammer.
Yeah, good plan.
Okay, so yeah, you're able to find one somewhere.
There's a shop down the street or something.
Yeah, or at the hotel, or somehow you're able to find a sledgehammer. That's not an issue.
Okay.
So you start heading off, and you start going out of the harbor. It's at this point the sun, the sun is starting to come up. Donald, if you're rolling film, you're able to get some really great shots of the sun over the ocean. And as the boat enters into the open water, you start heading west towards Elaine Moore. As you're going there, you can at first it appears just as a dot on the horizon, but slowly you start getting closer and closer. And it starts growing bigger and bigger. After about 15 minutes on the water, 15, 20 minutes on the water, you're probably about 10 miles away. Irene, give me a sanity check.
Ooh, made it.
Okay. You lose 1 sanity. As you're getting close to the island, you get to about 10 miles away, 9 or 10 miles away, and you feel like a brick wall hits you. And everybody who is standing around you can see you physically being pushed back like you ran into a wall. You turn pale white, and immediately after that happens, like I said before, you've always been able to hear the spirits. They become background noise. After that happens, it becomes totally silent to you. You cannot hear any spirits at all.
Eileen, are you all right? My God.
Eileen.
She's quite pale.
God. Donald, are you getting this on camera?
Are you seasick?
I open myself up. Is there nothing at all?
You hear nothing.
Did anybody bring any Dramamine?
I look up at them and I say,
sit down.
I look up at them and I say, this is very bad.
I think that's where we'll end it for tonight.
Right. It's a good spot. This is a great story. All right. Our players included Jerry Bryant, Jen Coulter, Sean Little, Thomas McKeon, Mick Swan, and myself, with Tyler Hudak as the keeper of the secrets. We're currently producing 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. Patrons to our show can now enjoy recordings of our pre- and post-game conversations. Some of the funniest and most interesting stuff occurs before and after the show. If you'd like to become a patron, visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month will help us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We love hearing from you. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.